Alright guys, Shane here, HomeBizNetworks.com. This is web design tips driving in the car with me, Shane, HomeBizNetworks.com. Today I am going over a reader's question, and that is, how and why should I choose a domain name? Okay, how and why I should choose the domain name. The first two things you need to think about when choosing a domain name is this. The first one is branding, okay, and the second one is for SEO purposes, okay. For branding purposes, you don't want your domain name too long, and for SEO purposes, you need your domain name to be related to your niche and to your related to your targeted keywords and targeted products, right? If you don't know anything about SEO, I have a ton of videos on SEO. I constantly get first page Google rankings. I do a ton of talks and videos on SEO. So just kind of click around on my YouTube channel, you'll find some stuff on that. So now that we have that out of the way, all right, there are a few key pointers and tips on how to choose a domain name, okay? The first thing you need to know is you need to know your niche, and you need to know what sort of stuff you're trying to sell, okay? And you need to have an idea on what your competitors are doing. Like, you're trying to beat out these other businesses to get sales. It's a competition, all right? So you need to figure out what they're doing, okay? So you start there. And how do you do it, all right? So this is my method for finding great domain names, all right? Step one, you think about what you're trying to sell, and you think about what your product and niche is going to be, and you think about what you're trying to sell. All right. Once you understand what that is you start typing around in Google, which is what I call the ABC soup method. Is you start populating these tools into Google, and you start looking at the first 10 links, and you just start clicking around. All right. What I do is I set up a Word document, and I highlight and copy paste, and I note my favorite websites that stand out to me. Maybe it's a YouTube channel that stands out to me. I don't know, maybe it's an Instagram page that stands out to me. Maybe it's a blog, that sort of stuff. I start documenting all of that, right? I don't spend too much time on this, maybe a half hour at tops. This is basic competitive research. The next step I do is, after I have that and everything in the Word document, I start putting, you want your domain names to be 2 or 3 words together at the most. Like, for me, it's HomeBizNetworks.com for my domain. You don't want it to be too long, all right? So what I do is I take about another 10 or 15 minutes, and in a Word document, I start putting words together from my competitive research. So I start taking a little bit from this website, a little bit from that website, a little bit from that product description, and I start putting together a list of another 10 words that might fit for my domain, okay? Once I have that settled, I need to actually go out there and purchase my domain, okay? So step 3 would be purchasing your domain, okay? Now, there's a ton of tools out there where you can go to purchase domains. I use a tool called Bluehost, and I've used another tool called Wealthy Affiliate. Once again, guys, I have a ton of videos on this stuff. Just click around my content, okay? You'll find it. When you plug these potential domain names into a tool like Bluehost, it will kick out information like, oh, nope, this domain name has already been taken. Nope, this domain name violates certain policies, like, adult content. Maybe like some states you can't have, there's some legal stuff in different states with weapons and certain stuff you can sell online. So it will tell you that, like, hey, this domain's taken. Nope, this domain violates policies. You can't do fu.com, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, right? Another great thing that Bluehost does too, if you're really hung up on a certain specific keyword or terms, it will kick out other variations of that term. that you could possibly purchase, okay? Which is why I like Bluehost, but many tools will do this. So that's what I do, guys. I start taking some of those keyword terms, and I start populating them into the domain purchase tool, like GoDaddy, Bluehost. You guys get the picture. All right. Now, there's a whole other. Now that's what are we on? Step 3. So, okay, we got our niche and service. We got our competitive research. Now we've actually gone out and purchased the domain, and now we're on number 4. Okay, the 4th tip on purchasing domain names, and that is to make sure you get the SSL security certificate that comes with the domain, and you also need to get hosting with the domain. Okay, so this throws everybody for a loop. My domain's only $2. I don't have money for hosting. Well, you just spent $2 on a domain. You need to have hosting in the background, okay? It's a server thing. It's a tech thing. I have a ton of videos on the background on why you need hosting. Okay, so just do it. It's fairly cheap. It costs you $15 a year, depending on what service. I do Bluehost, and I get a lot of traffic to my website, so I need to kind of have good hosting, but you don't need to have great hosting at first. You can upgrade it as the flows come. So that's tip number 4. When you purchase your domain name, make sure you get the SSL certificate with it, and make sure you get the hosting that's provided through that provider. Okay. Now for my 5th and magical tip, this is your bonus tip for purchasing domain names, and this is just effing do it. Stop talking about it and just purchase your domain name. Cut the crap out. You're not gonna make any sales. Don't worry about taxes. Don't worry about what your aunt said. Just do a little research and purchase the domain name, link it to your WordPress site or your ClickFunnels account, and start driving traffic, okay? That's my 5th tip. Stop messing around, okay? Get it done. I work with so many clients, they spend months on picking a domain name. Months. Picking out a domain name should only take 2 to 3 days. Okay, should only take 2 to 3 days. Maybe 2 hours worth of work tops. Okay, depending on how good you are and what you're trying to build. Like, if you're very advanced and you have like a very advanced idea on what you need to do for a website, it's a lot of work, and you got to put in more thought. But if this is your first website, just do these tips that I went over in this video, and you're gonna be all set. Trust me, keep it super simple. Simple. All right. So, guys, my name's Shane. This is Web Design Tips in a Car. Thanks for checking out this video. Leave some comments below if you're stuck on trying to find a domain name. I'd love to hear from you. Check out my content. Got a ton of free stuff. Hopefully this video helps you out a lot. My name's Shane. We're out here in Boston, Massachusetts. Y'all have a good Christmas, and go Pats. Whoop, whoop.